At the same time, the school districts, the new legislation comes down much harder on parents opting out. So the original law encouraged states, and therefore districts, to do a 95% participation rate. The reason they went 95% participation is because if you have more than 5% of the kids opting out, it messes up the data collection on the federal end. So it's about data collection, and that 95% number is kind of a magic number. The new legislation says there must be a state law in order for parents to be allowed to opt out. So the federal legislation says they'll honor a state law, but if there isn't one, then the parents, there's an attempt to say the parents cannot opt out. That actually won't hold up in court. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled more than 12 times that parents are the primary educators, but the federal legislation does attempt to step over it. There is also in this new law that districts are told that they will have penalties if they have more than 5% of the children opting out of the law. Whether they'll be able to make that stick is problematic at best. Last year here in New York, you had, not this year, but in the last academic year, statewide you had more than 20% of the children opt out of the test, and the feds backed down on cutting funding. The legislation actually doesn't, it's a formula grant, it's based on your poverty numbers, so they don't really have the ability to take the money away because it doesn't allow for that. But what they attempt to do in the law is tell the districts, well, we'll use it as a club. So there's a lot of pressure built into the law onto the districts to have the districts be the bad guys, to tell the parents, well, we'll lose money if you don't let your kids take the test. In No Child Left Behind, there were no limits on the amount of tests. The federal legislation limits the amount